What's going on, guys? Billy here, and to get right to it, the DJI Osmo Action has finally received one of its first firmware updates. I know that we originally got a pretty big firmware update, actually putting Rocksteady into the camera, but that was before a lot of people had their hands on the camera, and this one comes just a few weeks after it's launched, and it fixes a couple of pretty key issues. So this version, 01.03.00.10, is 35.1 megabytes in size to download and was pushed out by DJI on June 10th, 2019. I'll throw the patch notes up here on the screen for those who haven't checked their Mimo app yet, and you'll see that there are 4 changes. First is the optimized video quality when shooting in 240 frames per second. The next fixes the audio sync that would occur after recording for a longer period of time. DJI has also fixed an instance where the camera would shut off when playing back your images on the Osmo Action itself, and they also fixed an issue where the Mimo app would not connect to your camera while recording. So let's tackle the first change made by DJI, which is the optimization to the video quality when shooting in 240 frames per second. Now, I wanted to make this fair, so I set up the Osmo Action right here in my well-lit shooting area. I wanted to maintain the same lighting and the same framing, so I quickly shot a video clip, and then I updated and shot another one. So this video clip you're looking at right here is before the update, shooting at 1080p, 240 frames per second, and then this video clip is after updating. This is again shooting in 1080p, 240 frames per second, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't see a single difference. I'll put them side by side and they both still look the same to me. Now, granted, I am used to shooting in 4K, so I'm used to 4 times the pixels in my video, so it does look a little bit blurry to me, but at the end of the day, this is 1080p shooting at 240 frames per second. I think that the video quality looks fine, and sometimes when DJI comes out and says that they're implementing these optimizations to video quality, it can be behind the scene things, and it's not things we see right here on the surface. Now, when it comes to that issue of the audio falling out of sync with the video when shooting longer video clips, this is something that never affected me. I usually shoot in shorter bursts between like 2 and 4 minutes, but if you're somebody that just likes to hit the record button and shoot a ton of stuff, or if you're going to be mounting it like to your chest or to your helmet, or maybe you're going to be mounting it to a wall, I mean really anything, and you're going to be shooting for longer than 20 or 30 minutes, then this is definitely going to be a problem. So if you're familiar with really any DJI product, it splits longer video clips up into multiple files. So let's say I shoot one long 30-minute clip. This is going to be split into 5 different files on my computer. This happens with their drones and their other Osmo cameras and kind of gets on my nerves, but the good thing is if you lay these clips in sequential order like in an editing software, then it looks like the breakup never happened. Here's the thing though, before this update, after that first video split, the audio would fall out of sync with the video, as you guys are seeing right now. It's probably driving your mind insane, so it's definitely good that DJI went back and fixed this up. After the update though, there is no issue where the audio falls out of sync with the video, which is definitely a welcome change for those of you who want to shoot longer videos and don't want to have to worry about your audio falling out of sync with the video. You know, I really wish that DJI would stop splitting up these longer clips into multiple files. I shoot with my Sony a7 III sometimes for longer periods of time, and I can hit my recording limit at 29 minutes and 59 seconds, and it'll still come out in one single file. It's so much easier to edit, it's easier to manage, and just above all, it's easier to deal with. Now, in this firmware update, DJI also did address 2 smaller bugs, the first of which actually came when you're playing back videos on the Osmo Action itself. So if you're watching a video, sometimes the camera would just shut off. Now, I haven't heard of this issue, I haven't experienced it, so it's probably a smaller, more controlled issue, but nonetheless, it's good that DJI took care of it. Now, the second smaller issue that DJI has addressed with this firmware update, and the fourth thing as a whole, is something that actually has been driving me crazy, and it's an instance where if you're shooting with the Osmo Action, you're unable to connect with the Mimo app. Now, if you connect with the Mimo app, your Osmo Action isn't shooting, and you begin shooting, you're gonna stay connected, but if you close the Mimo app, you mount it somewhere, you start shooting a time lapse, and you put the phone in your pocket, and you say, oh, I wanna check up on my Osmo Action, you pull out your phone, you're gonna be unable to reconnect to the Mimo application. Now, that's since been fixed, thank God, because I shoot time lapses a lot with this, and what I like to do is take out my phone and make sure the battery life is fine, make sure my frame is still set properly. So I'm really happy that DJI addressed this and fixed it with this firmware update. So it's great that DJI is coming in and knocking off some of the issues that we have with the Osmo Action one by one, and with this firmware update, they definitely improved the usability of the Osmo Action by squashing some pretty big bugs, but there are still some glaring issues out there, and to name a few. One of them is no external mic support, and the other is the lag that comes on the screen when shooting rock steady. So there's still some issues out there that need to be addressed, but on the bright side, it seems that DJI is really committed to making this camera the best that it can be, squashing some small bugs and also fixing some major issues, things like the audio falling out of sync. So I believe that in the future, we're definitely going to see some firmware updates that not only address some of these issues we're having, but also implement some new features. Anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments what you think of the Osmo Action after this firmware update. And as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.